In contract law, if a party breaches a promise, that is, a manifestation of intent to act or not act in a certain way, that party may be liable for damages. However, the other party typically isn't excused from performance. By contrast, if a party breaches a condition precedent, that is, a fact or event that must occur before another party's performance becomes due, that party's breach excuses the other party's performance. But what if a party doesn't strictly comply with a condition precedent in a contract? May the contract still be enforced if the purpose of the condition, such as notifying a party of shipment, is ultimately fulfilled? The New York Court of Appeals considered this question in Jungmann and Company versus Atterbury Brothers. In February of 1923, Jungmann and Company entered into a contract with Atterbury Brothers to sell casein, a powdery byproduct of milk. Under the contract, Atterbury agreed to purchase 30 tons of Argentine casein from Jungmann at 21 cents per pound, cash, to be paid when the goods arrived in New York. Specifically, the casein was to be sent by Jungmann via ship from Europe between May and June of that year, and delivered in 2 installments of 15 tons each at the Port of New York. In addition, immediately after shipping the goods, the contract required Jungmann to give Atterbury notice of the shipment via cable, that is, via telegraph communication. On June 9, 1923, Jungmann shipped its first installment of the casein, but didn't notify Atterbury of the shipment via cable. 11 days later, the shipment arrived, but Atterbury refused to accept it due to Jungmann's failure to provide him with notice. On June 23, Atterbury received a letter from Jungmann that it was planning to ship the second installment on June 26. Jungmann then sent the remaining casein on June 26, but once again didn't notify Atterbury of the shipment via cable. Then, on June 28, Atterbury received another letter from Jungmann stating that when the second ship arrived, it would fully perform the contract. However, when the shipment arrived, Atterbury refused to accept delivery or pay Jungmann the money due. Subsequently, Jungmann sued Atterbury in the New York Supreme Court, New York County, for breach of contract. In response, Atterbury argued that Jungmann's duty to provide notice of the shipment via cable was a condition precedent under the contract. As a result, because Jungmann breached this condition, Atterbury argued that it was excused from performance. At trial, a jury returned a verdict in favor of Jungmann. Atterbury appealed to the Appellate Division, which affirmed. Atterbury then appealed to the New York Court of Appeals.